What's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And my friends, I hope you had a great holiday weekend. It's time to get back on our hustle, our grind, whatever you want to call it. And we are going to start that off with a powerful episode of Wake Up Legendary. Now, you know this is part of my morning routine. We've talked a bit about morning routines here over the last few weeks. Some people like to get up and meditate, take a cold shower, do an ice bath, get a workout, pray to the, marketing gods before they get started. And I like to just wake up and start grinding, start working. And part of my morning is Wake Up Legendary. That's part of my routine. And so if you're new here, I invite you, especially if you're just getting into, learning these skill sets and working on your mindset, to start making this part of your routine as well, at least listening to these episodes live with us every morning, so you can start to hear how some of these people have begun to change their lives in the mindset and the skill sets that they've used to be able to do so. With that being said, this morning, a former fast food worker is spilling her secrets to online growth and to starting and growing her digital marketing business. With that being said, Hailey, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You're looking very festive.
Thank you. Yes. I had Christmas presents everywhere else, so this was the best spot to go.
Nice. Well, tell us where you're calling in from.
Just north of Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay, wonderful. And so tell us how you found us. What were you looking for? Were you still, or are you still working in the hospitality industry, if you will? And if you were looking for us specifically, or even if we just fell upon your lap, do you feel like you found what you are needing or what you were looking for?
Yeah, this definitely filled like the gap I was looking for. My dad taught us like to work hard, and he's, built and grown several businesses, and I've watched him, have success in business. And I was more or less just taught, be a hard worker and kind of follow the system a little bit. And I was in retail, some in management, and most recently in fast food while I was planning my wedding. And I came across Legendary through a video online. And at the time I was in the middle of wedding planning, and I just brushed it off and said, I actually was going to start, and I said, I can't really fully commit to this right now. So I'm not going to do it halfway. And I came back to it later when I saw someone else who also had the same, like in my mind, wild success online, to where I almost didn't believe it was real, and went through the challenge. And on like day one of the challenge, it was like a complete, reset of, my mindset of how to make money. My dad had run brick and mortar businesses, and every time he was trying to make money, he had to be present. He had to be working, 10, 12 hours a day. And, that's just, I thought that's the only way to get success is, to your whole life, just, be working to achieve that. And when I understood there was another easier way to make money from home, I quit my job. And I told myself, I'm just going to make this work. My husband runs a heating and air business, and I took some of the marketing that I learned, applied that to his business, and then started my own business online.
Wow. Well, you just threw yourself all in, huh? You don't do anything halfway, right?
Well, no, I tried not to. When I decided to start the challenge and understood what it was, I wanted to go all in. And, when you see all these other people having success, like they did, I said, why would I be any different? If they can do it, I can too. And, I just committed to, setting up some goals for myself and, committing to making that change that I wanted to see.
Yeah. And you're doing it at quite a young age, right? I mean, you're in your early 20s from what I understand. And that's that's setting yourself up for a lot of a completely different life. I was thinking about earlier, I think this morning, maybe it was last night, about the fact that I just turned 40 and how different my life would have been if I would have been, graduated college and trying to climb the corporate ladder for the past 18 years after I graduated college, or 16 to 18 years, whatever, and how different my life would have been versus if I would have, which I did, drop out of high school, struggle with drug addiction, end up homeless, and then get clean at 24 and stumble. I wasn't a visionary in my early 20s. I just was desperate. And I was also, on the internet, what internet we had back then. I'm not, sometimes I feel like I'm talking like I'm like a grandpa, which I guess I could be, but, we didn't have TikTok. We didn't really have Instagram as much. I don't know if that existed. We certainly didn't have short form videos. Cell phones were fairly new. No, Rosanna, we weren't quite on dial up. But I do remember dial up. Haley, you probably don't remember.
No, I do not know what that is.
That was a little bit before your time. But the truth is that there's a lot of people who have been using these skills, both who are now learning them in our community over the past few years, and that have been using them for the past 15 years to create freedom. I mean, I was using them before Legendary existed.
Yeah.
So it's not like the only people who are having success are like inside of Legendary.
Right.
But there are a lot of powerful, successful examples for people to see, both in our community and outside of our community. Once you started going through the training, did you realize how those sort of results could be possible versus just assuming that it was all a scam and that people were lying?
Yeah. I think it was talked about in the challenge, but you talk about the marketing glasses, and like once you put those on, you can't really see it any other way. And I'm just scrolling through Instagram like I would on a typical day, and I was like, oh, they're marketing, they're an affiliate for these products, and they might not even know how much they could scale that business because they haven't had the right training. But I start to see that other people, not even in a wealth niche, because I think especially in this community, you can get caught up like wealth niche is the only way to make money. But, you start to see other niches that are, they're doing the same thing, and you can apply the same knowledge you've taken in the challenge and the blueprints and apply that to any niche or any passion you have. And I started to, see there's way more opportunity than what most people, what they think is possible.
Yeah. And you make a good point. Even coming into our community, there is a lot of new people, and you do see a lot of people who are excited, who are focused on money, who are focused on their lack of wealth. And so they're focused on the wealth niche. That's what they're excited about. That's what they're passionate about. They're trying to change their financial situation.
Right.
And so a lot of people inside of our community are focused on that niche. But you're right. And we also train extensively on lots of other examples in other niches. And yes, we have plenty of people in our community who are marketing other niches. We just, they may not be telling you exactly or sharing exactly what products they're promoting because, well, they've done the hard work to be able to set that up right. I mean, marketers tend to be copycats in many respects. So in some ways they're trying to protect their work, but you're right. There's a whole world. And once you start to see this, as you say, the marketing glasses, you begin to notice how money is being made on the internet. And how has that empowered you in terms of, surely there's been some limiting beliefs, which I'd like to hear about as well. What were the limiting beliefs that came up for you as you were starting the challenge, I think you invested in the blueprints and of course you've gotten started now. That's why you're on the show. But what were the limiting beliefs that came up, and also how did you empower yourself to overcome them as you were learning? Because I think that overcoming limiting beliefs, it can't just be blind faith all the time. We have to be acquiring knowledge to be able to understand the steps to overcome our irrational fears. What did that process look like for you? What were the limiting beliefs that came up, and how did you overcome some of those?
Well, I think at the beginning, I think there's a lot of misinformation because I was like, well, I'm just not going to show my face. I'm not going to speak online. And I started to realize that's the best way to connect with people. And, coming from someone who's never made a reel in their life, who really isn't like, I wasn't big into Instagram and Facebook and all these social media platforms. I had to learn everything from the ground up. And I remember the first video I did, there were people that I knew that had found the account. That first reel got shared 25 times because everyone's like, what in the world is she doing? And, I think one of the most important things I did was I just, started. I remember I was in Decade in a Day, and Joanne was encouraging everyone. She's like, it's never going to be perfect. Just start. You just have to take action to take that first step, and the rest will be easier once you've started. And, so I think I understood it's not going to be perfect, and it might not even be what I want it to be or wish, my videos and captions, it's not going to look like everybody else's. But once I took that first step, all the training came along with it, and I didn't stop with the education. I dove into the blueprints more about different ways you can create reels and what makes a reel better, and how to optimize your account and reach your ideal audience. I think that really helped me because as I'm putting out content, each piece got a little bit better, and I started to see more growth come from social media.
Yeah, with knowledge comes decreased fear.
Right, I agree.
Because fear comes from usually irrational fantasy, not really knowing. Think about when we were kids, we were afraid of the boogeyman.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's like that's a negative fantasy. It's something that's not really there. Right. That's usually what fantasy is. Right. It's in fantasy can sometimes be described in a positive way, but in this case, we future trip, about things that aren't there. And with knowledge, and you make a great point, just going through some of the education and really taking your time and empowering yourself with the skill set to know exactly how to do it,
right,
can eliminate a lot of your fear, because you get out of your head, which is that irrational, boogeyman. Oh my God. I wonder the boogeyman, the internet boogeyman's hiding out there, gonna jump out from under my bed and get me.
Yeah.
And then we ground ourselves into, where are my hands and feet at right now? What am I learning? Oh, that's empowering. That makes sense. Now I have something I can ask a question about. I don't understand that, or I do understand that. Let me go try it. And we can stay external, out of our heads, implementing, and, as you said, taking action. You also touched on an important point that I'm not sure everybody picked up on, which is the fact that we're never going to love our stuff as much as we love Danny's stuff and, Diane's stuff over here. And, everybody else's stuff always looks better. The grass always looks greener on the other side. And we always are more critical of ourselves. I wish that it was the other way around. I wish that we were more critical of other people and less critical of ourselves. But what we do is we put everybody up on a pedestal and say, oh my God, their stuff looks so nice, or their
Right.
captions look so perfect, or their video editing. And then we think our stuff looks like crap.
Right.
How are you pressing post anyways and not getting caught up in being overcritically of your overcritical of yourself?
Well, I think, just understanding that once you put that out, it'll give you something, right? You're going to grow, even if it's just 2 followers, that's still growth. And I, I had to tell myself, like, it's never going to be perfect. And if I sit there and pick that apart for an hour and a half on one reel, you just get overwhelmed with it and you'll push it to the side and you'll do something else. I had to kind of get out of my head and just say, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And I would try to just, set a list for myself and give myself a time frame, because if I wouldn't, then it was like, I'm going to spend 3 hours on this stuff and I'm still not going to like it. And, when I said, I'm just going to batch create these reels and I'm going to write the captions later, whatever, however you break it up. But I had to create a system for myself. That way I could just create content, even if it wasn't perfect.
Love it. Love it. And isn't that the real definition of time management? I mean, I think about, is this going to matter in 5 years?
Yeah.
Is this going to matter in 5 months? Is this going to matter in 5 weeks even? I mean, is this even going to matter in 5 days? This little edit, this little jump cut, this little caption, that misspelling. I saw somebody the other day in our community that was going to redo their whole ebook because of a misspelling, and our good buddy Tim came in and said, post it anyways, don't worry about it. It's just, it doesn't matter. It's
Right.
those little tiny, I mean, if you can quickly fix it, fine, but don't let it slow you down. Don't watch your video really more than one time. Just post it. It's not going to matter in 5 days. It might matter to you still in 5 hours. You might be obsessing over it still in 5 hours, but honestly, in 5 days, you'll be on to something else. You should be on to something else. And that really is the definition of time management, right? It's the ability to be able to not get caught in perfect and just be productive, pushing out, in this case, marketing material, marketing content. And it is about quantity at first. It's not about quality. It's about quantity, because quantity leads you to quality.
Right.
We want to go from conscious overthinking everything to unconscious action, where it's second nature, right? Where we can just do it without always overthinking or even thinking about it. And that only comes from practice. Swings, time in the batting cage, whatever analogy that you can, cooking the noodles, whatever is, how do you know when the noodles are al dente? I don't know, because you've done it 10,000 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you know how to swing the baseball bat? Because you dadgum have done it 10,000 times. There's just no shortcuts. And that's, I think, the hard part. This is not really easy. It's not really easier to do internet marketing than it is brick and mortar, because you still have to take the swings. You still have to practice. And sometimes, I think, while there's equal amounts of freedom and independence that are possible, that also comes with an equal amount of self-discipline that you have to have in order to be able to get to that place to where you can experience that freedom and that independence. What has it been like for you to go from employee and always having a manager and a boss, always probably having a time when you needed to show up and maybe even a punch card to punch, to now being in total control of your time?
I think that's actually been one of the harder things for me to do. I don't know why that is, because when you're at a job and you say you need to be here at 7 a.m., you're going to show up at 7 a.m. And sometimes when you're working for yourself,
You're like, here, boss, right? I mean, 5 minutes early.
and then sometimes you know that there's certain things you need to do for your own business in order to succeed, and it's harder to do that. And I don't really understand why, but I've tried to I tried to get my husband, and we work on it together, that I'm like accountable, just so that I'm able to hit those goals that I'm trying to set, because I want to be able to reach the goals I have for the day, and I I have to sometimes put aside what I want to do and just do what I know I need to do, um, to get through the day, and to create the email I wanted to send, and create the reels, and answer the DMs, and connect with people. Those are all things that take work, and I think at the beginning of this, I'm like, oh, it's going to be so simple. Everything's just going to be handed to me on a silver platter, and I'm just going to see growth with no work. And, I think 3 weeks in, I started to realize, like, okay, yeah, no, this is like for the long run. I've got to start to put work into this if I want to see something come out of it. I don't know who said it, but like, if you treat it like a hobby, you're going to make hobby money. And if you treat it like a job, you'll be able to make real money with it. But that's something I had to look at, like, okay, I need to treat this like it is a job that I need to show up every day and take action in order to see those results come in that I want.
Well, that's right. 50 hat throws for that. Boom.
Awesome. Love it.
Triple double spin alley oop, because if you, and I'm gonna layer something over that powerful quote. If you treat this like a hobby, you will spend money on it like a hobby.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because
yeah, but it's true.
I mean, I've never had a hobby that actually paid me. I've had some dadgum hobbies that have been friggin' expensive, though. You ask some golfers, you ask, even people, I don't know. I mean, friends, what are your hobbies, for God's sakes? And what of them are paying you?
Right.
And what do you do with a hobby? You do it when you can. You
Right.
do it when you have time. You do it when you feel like it. You do it when it's nice weather. You do it when you're feeling 100%.
Yeah.
You do it when you have a day off, right? A business, my friends, you do it rain or shine. You do it whether you feel like it or not. You show up, not because who cares if you're counting on you or not? Others are counting on you.
Right.
I only have 2 followers, though, Dave. Yeah, they followed you for a reason, because they thought you had value to deliver. That they thought you were worth following. We need to stop minimizing and not valuing the 2 people that are following us, right? But yeah, man, one of the most powerful questions I ask is it usually at live events, because I like to see, I like to hear some of the gasps in the room, but I'd like to ask it here as well. How many of you would actually employ yourself in your own business?
Ooh.
Somebody who worked at the capacity, that had the work ethic, that showed up like you show up, that does the work like you do the work. How many of you would actually, I mean, what's an average, what's the least amount of money somebody could make in the United States of America to be able to survive? I mean, what do you think, Hailey?
I have no idea. I mean,
30, 40,000.
yeah, I mean, you gotta, especially in today.
Yeah. So would you all pay somebody $45,000 or $50,000 a year to work in your business at the same rate, show up, work the same amount of hours, put out the same amount of effort and output as you put out right now? If it's like, damn, man, so what do we want? What do we expect? Right? It's like, I mean, when we're putting out, you know, basically you know, a less than reasonable, if we are putting out the amount of energy in getting the amount of work done of someone that we would fire,
Yeah.
you know, how can we expect that we're going to succeed? Right. And so this is something you're learning at quite a young age right now, in your early 20s. What are you noticing that is different about entrepreneurship yourself, in terms of whether it be, how about just mindset stuff that is required of you in order to just have had the success that you've had so far? And what do you know that you need to work on or focus on specifically in order to get to the levels that you want to get to for you?
Well,
Not just generally, but for you.
Right. I think there was a lot of mind shift when I first started, you know, because you go from being the employee to being the one in charge of every decision. And, you know, at the beginning, it was, I told myself I'll only fail if I quit, because I had to just get through, right? You need to just keep working at it. And, you know, at first that was something that was really hard, because when you're not seeing the commissions, like, it's hard to you compare yourself to everybody else, and, well, this person made $1,000 in their first month, so why didn't I do that? And you think you're a failure automatically. And, you know, I had to tell myself, I'm only going to fail at this if I quit. It might take me, you know, 2 months, it might take me 2 years, but I'm not going to stop until I see that success that I know is coming. And I really had to tell myself that, like, it's not an option to quit. I have to just persevere, because I know what I'm doing is working for other people. So it's going to work for me eventually. And then you get that fear of numbers. So I would have, like, aspirational goals. You know, I want to have X amount of followers by the end of 2024. And when you don't reach that goal, you know, it kind of gets you discouraged. And I had to tell myself, you know, the aspirational goal is only going to come if you have, like, actionable goals. You know, maybe I didn't reach that 20,000 followers, but did I post every day? Did I connect with my followers? I heard someone say this analogy and it made so much sense to me. But, you know, I had like 200 followers for the longest time. And I was like, I cannot believe that. Like, I'm showing up and there's no one out there. No one is viewing this. But, you know, if you think of, you're hosting a party and you've got 200 people sitting at the table and they're expecting you to serve them, and you just don't want to show up because, you know, it's only 200 people. Why should I serve them? But those 200 people followed you for a reason, and they're sitting down expecting you to serve them. So you shouldn't do any less than your best. You should just keep showing up for those 200 people. And inevitably, that number is going to grow. If you invest in that small group of people, it's going to grow. And I guess there's no, like, science to back that up, but it's true. Once you start giving more than you expect to receive, if you're just saying, I'm just expecting to see commissions from these people, instead of, how can I serve the people who are following me, and how can I educate them and empower them, you know, you'll start seeing success, especially once you start making those connections. That was one of the biggest things for me. I had less than 1,000 followers when I made 4-figure commissions. And I think that was huge for me to understand, like, it's not all about numbers. And
Wow.
if you can just, you know, with the people you have that are following you, build connections with them, connect with them in the DMs, especially if they're asking you questions. That's like a wide open door, you know, build their trust.
Yeah.
And, you know, be someone that they can come to with questions, and that they would trust in making a recommendation on something.
Yeah. Wow. Well said. Powerful. I mean, just statement of I'm making, 4-figure commissions with less than 1,000 followers is enough to hopefully get everybody spinning in their chair and leaning in and throwing their hat, waking the hell up, because nowadays on the internet, there are some really influential people with a few hundred followers, with a few thousand followers. I mean, it doesn't, as a matter of fact, some of the most influential people in certain niches have a small following, and they really are connecting deeper in their people. Their audience is feeling more connected to them because they feel more reachable and relatable, versus people who have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of followers, because people feel lost in the sea of followers to those people. And so it's also such a wonderful time to learn how to serve, to learn how to communicate when you have a small audience. It's almost a gift. And again, here I go, looking at this old bottle with, man, that thing ain't even empty yet. Look, there's one more sip in there. Right? I mean, most people would come along and say, that old dusty old thing, I don't want somebody else's backwash. But here I go. Positive thinking again, framing, right? All about framing and perspective. And my stance on small followings is that what a wonderful time to practice. What a wonderful time to get awesome, excellent, masterful at your craft before you have a huge audience. Because once you do grow a large audience, you'll really know how to communicate and connect with them and convert them. If you have a small audience and you can convert people from that small audience into sales, imagine what you could do with a large audience versus, dear God, please give me a large audience. I promise I'll really work hard and just really show up every day and just give me some followers. And it's like, well, even if God was like Salt Bay sprinkling hundreds of thousands of followers, which God, whatever, isn't listening to us praying for followers. And hopefully that's not what we're praying for anyways. I'm being dramatic. But the truth is that even if you had hundreds of thousands of followers, would you even know how to convert them?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Right.
There's a reason why everybody starts at zero. And there's a reason why, if you have less followers right now and you're not making any money, there's a reason for that, because you need to get better at creating content, giving calls to action, converting your audience into leads and converting those leads into sales. You just gave a couple of tips. Of course, getting in people's DMs, creating content that gets people engaging with you, then reaching out to them. What other ways are you finding effective at converting, whether that be your audience into leads, getting them into your funnel, or then converting those leads into sales?
Well, I think one of the biggest things I overlooked was email marketing. I think because for some reason you get wrapped up in the content and I just want to show up online. And then you have all these leads sitting, in I don't know, in your email. And you can email them every day, multiple times a day. And I started, implementing a email marketing strategy. And it was like mind blowing how much that can change. And you start getting people to read your story and they're invested in it. They come back the next day and they want to read more. And then they're building trust with you. And I think email was one of the biggest things that helped me grow and helped me connect with followers. And then stories. For the longest time, I never posted on stories. And I started to realize, like, people are following on social media because they want that connection. They want to know who you are and they want to connect with you personally. They don't want to just, see your face every once in a while. They're going to unfollow you because they want that personal connection. And I started trying to talk more in the stories and try to understand my audience. I would do, polls of what more do you want to see? What type of content? How can I help you? And even just, questions and people responding to me, and I get to respond back to them, was huge, just to be able to build that connection more. And even like comments, if people leave comments, I try to always come back and reply to comments that are left on my videos. Any chance I can see to connect with someone who's on my account, I want to be able to do that. And it's really helped my business in the long run, because you're earning their trust. And then anything that you want to try to promote, they already have an inclination to buy from you because they know you. And I think that has really been the biggest thing that has helped.
Wow, you just dropped
Another one. This is awesome.
You're getting 50,000. I'm breaking my damn hat on this live because it's so wonderful when we have somebody and I'm able to talk to somebody who really understands. You don't have to understand everything, because I don't understand everything. I don't claim to be a guru or a genius at marketing, but you know enough to be dangerous. You know enough to have, and then you've put it into practice. You don't know it because you've just watched it, which is really the first step. But you've also implemented it, and you've realized what works and what doesn't, but you've just shared what is working for you because you've gone out and tested it and you've done it. And I wanted to piggyback on a couple of things that you just said right there. First and foremost, yes, we do focus so much on content creation and thinking that this, online or digital marketing any of the core 4 business models is all about just posting videos on social media. And that's really only part of the marketing strategy. That's the traffic getting strategy. And while that is extremely important, you still, going back to your point earlier about making big money from a small audience or making big money from a small list. This is one of the most exciting topics for old school marketers who have been around for a long time before you could be an influencer on Instagram or social media, because that's a new thing. That's not something that's been around for a long time. Most of us old school marketers have made all of our money from a small audience, but really knowing how to convert them by using tools such as email marketing. And this is one of 2 tools that we introduce you to as you start inside of our platform. One is a funnel builder, one is a autoresponder. And that's because your email list should be and could be your most profitable tool. Okay. And why is that? Well, because you can't do everything in a video on social media. You can't get somebody to know, like, and trust you, bond deeply with them, and convert them and get them to pull out their wallet and buy something from you. Social media, running an ad, and really everything we do out on the internet in terms of traffic getting, whether we're running paid ads or posting videos on social media, is an advertisement. That's all it is. It's an advertisement. Nowadays it's more of an organic advertisement, right? It's better if your ads look like regular social media posts. But the truth is, we're all advertising. Right. So your ads, just like any great advertisement, is not meant to tell the whole story and give the whole product pitch in the ad. It's only meant to hook them. Right. Get their attention. That's why we use the fishing formula, because in my limited earth experience, fishing is the best analogy for marketing, because all I'm trying to do is get a fish interested by throwing and bite the damn hook. But in terms of feeding myself, I'm not going to get fed off of one fish. I need to build a funnel. I need to have the right equipment. I need to have a system. And I need to be funneling those people in and converting them on the back end. Yeah. And in order to get full, I need to have multiple servings, second helpings, third helpings, enough to feed a village. And so email marketing is part of that back-end system that makes that work. And it's also a place where we get to really introduce ourselves to people on a deeper level. Once we show up in their inbox, we get them off of the social media platforms, or whenever they go to check their email, there's less noise. If we can get them hooked with a clever email and get them to read, we can tell more of our story. We also can tell more of our story right on that bridge page after we've gotten the email, right? We can give them maybe a 2 or 3 minute overview. But again, those, too many of us new people are trying to like do it all out on your social media profile. Tell your story. You want to air all your, your whole life story out there. You want to figure out how to do it all in a 30-second video. And the truth is that the relationship is built over multiple steps, and email marketing is one of the most powerful places. One email can tell your entire story, and you can write it to automatically go out to every single person who opts into your funnel. As a matter of fact, it could even be your first email that goes out where it's like, hey, thanks for opting in. Thanks for being a part of my family, my community here. Let me tell you why I'm doing this, right? And you have an opportunity to be able to educate them more on who you are and why you're doing it, versus trying to do it all in a 30-second TikTok video or all on a minute-long Instagram video. As well as that email list allows you to be able to convert people either multiple times, selling them multiple products over a long period of time, or warm them up. And many people will be on your email list for days, weeks, or months before they buy. But I think one of the biggest stumbling blocks that a lot of us new people do when we're starting is we try to do too much, and we're doing the wrong things in our marketing content. We're trying to get people to know, like, and trust us and tell our story and all this stuff. And the only thing that you're trying to do with your advertisements is to get their interest and to get them to take the bait and bite, which is your free giveaway, and get them to opt into your email list. And after that, all of the rest of the heavy lifting can be done from your bridge page, your hero story video, and your emails. And then once they're subscribed on your email list, then sure, maybe they'll watch more of your social media videos. But the point is that we're not going to lose them with a long drawn out video on our Instagram profile that's trying to do it all, including some of us are out there selling products off of Instagram. That's not the point. It's an advertisement. A truck commercial isn't trying to sell you a car. It's trying to get you to come in and take it for a test drive.
Yeah.
That's all it's trying to do. If you really pay attention to most great ads, they're not always trying to convert you right there. They're trying to plant a seed. And so talk to us, what else has worked for you? What else, if you were to start over at the very beginning, let's talk about your videos, your advertisements. What about your videos have you improved or changed, or what advice would you give to yourself if you were just starting, knowing what you know now?
Well, I think at the beginning, I heard a lot of people say, like, you need to be yourself online. And for someone who like has no idea how to make a reel and how to show up online, I was like, I don't know how to be myself. I don't know how to show up authentically. And it was easy to get caught up in that like copy paste type of marketing. And the longer I went, I was like, okay, this isn't what I want to do. I need to show up as myself, because if they just see another creator that looks the same as everybody else, then there's nothing different about you. And I started to really dive into the fishing formula, because obviously I've heard it in the challenge and the blueprints. And I said, okay, I just need to like reevaluate my content and how to find maybe not even find the right audience, how to get my ideal audience to come to me. And, I started, okay, so which type of people am I looking for? What pain points do I need to talk to? And, create my own list of call to actions and, I lost the other word, call to actions, hooks, and, get people engaged in the content, because then you start getting, it's almost wild how Instagram and Facebook works, because you're getting your ideal audience coming to you. And, you have people who are ready to make a purchase or ready to take action. And because you implement that type of fishing formula and you created your content the right way, I started to see reels were really I started seeing viewers change into what's the word? People who would buy.
Yeah, buyer, people who are ready. Right. I love what you're saying right now is one of the most profound thoughts that we've had on the show. And here's why. Is because you're pointing out the fact that Instagram, Facebook, TikTok will feed you people who have already been warmed up by other people. And so if you just give them quick little bite-sized nuggets, quick little value hits, curiosity driven, right? Not trying to tell your whole story, not trying to warm them up as if they've never heard of this stuff before, but just give them a free giveaway. Just point them to your lead magnet, ask them to follow you for more tips, get right into the value, because you're new, but these people who are watching you are not new to this. A lot of times they've already been warmed up by somebody else, but maybe the other person was taking too long to get to the point, or the other person wasn't giving them a clear path to go log in to get a free ebook to show them exactly how to do something. Nowadays, this is a big, people who get this today, you'll have given them a gift. You're like Mrs. Claus sitting in front of that tree right now. I mean, it's actually ridiculous right now what you just dropped on people. It's leveraging the algorithm instead of thinking that you need to warm up your audience and start with people from scratch just because you're starting from scratch. That's Elizabeth. I mean, you better be having an aha moment right now. I'm serious. People they've been what? How many of you, let's do a test. How many of you have been watching somebody, or how many of you watched somebody for a while before you bought?
Me. I was the same way.
And then maybe didn't even buy from or the initial person who introduced you to the idea. Now, in any niche, I'm not just talking about here at Legendary. I'm talking about in any dadgum niche. How many of you were introduced to an idea from somebody, then you started getting a shitload of those types of videos in your social media feed, and then bought from somebody else 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months. Somebody said, I watched for 2 years, Melissa said, for God's sakes. Hello. Welcome to the party. It's like, then we come on, we're brand new, and we think we need to warm the world up to this new idea that we just had, and we're going to take them all the way back from square one, and we're going to tell them our life story, and we're going to just warm them up as we warm ourselves up, and we're going to help them, we're going to get motivated and get them motivated as they don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
They've been watching and probably thinking and learning and listening about the topic in any niche for days, weeks, months, even years. And is all you have to do is give them a clear path to the door. And many of them will walk right through. this hat, I'm ready to throw this damn thing out into the ocean. Can you say more about what's coming up for you as I'm talking? Basically, what you're saying is become from day one, be the hunted, not the hunter. Act as if you have the answer to what they've been looking for, and be the hunted. Allow them to hunt you. Allow them to come to you instead of approaching as if you're going to warm them up and target and hunt them and hopefully make a kill for a commission, right?
Well, I think because I was the same way. I had watched one person make a video and I didn't buy from them, and I saw another person and I didn't buy from them, and then the last one I felt like I could connect with that person. And I was like, oh, okay. And they did. They gave me a clear path to, they gave me a freebie, and you know, even just connecting with them a little bit through the DMs, I was like, I feel like I know this person, and I was willing to buy from them. And, you know, even little things that you look at on social media, if you see a makeup brand, one person using it, you probably might not buy from them. But when you see 3 other people using that, you would, you know, you just need someone to connect with you personally and guide you to the answer you've already been thinking about in your head. Because I can relate to that. I was that same person. So when I just say, hi, I'm here, I'm a real person, I want to connect with you personally and give you my free gift and connect you with the same process I use to achieve success online. People are like, oh, really? Because they want that. You know, they're already searching for that in their heads, and then you're giving them exactly what they want on a silver platter. And it's, you know, there's not a long process to get there, you know, and that a lot of people want that. They want like the instant gratification online. And when you can show up and be yourself and guide them to exactly what they want, you know, that's all you need to do. It's not that complicated.
You're brilliant. You're brilliant. And as you were talking, I this analogy, and remember, I say this a lot at live events, and this is just where I'll be, you know, ranting about certain things and teaching about certain strategies, going a little bit deeper. And by the way, hope to see many of you at the upcoming mastermind. Seats are sold out, but we just had a couple of spots come available. And Hailey, I can see you possibly maybe sharing or teaching from our mastermind stage one day. You're just dropping so many bombs here on this show this morning. One of the things I say often is there's nothing more powerful than the perfect analogy. And what many of us, when we're new, we try to start out and do is have a relationship with our audience. Baby, they're just looking for a hookup. They're just looking for a hookup, okay? I mean, I know that you value your business, and this is going to be the thing that changes everything for you and your family, and it's so important to you, and that's all good. That's great. That's great. That's awesome that those are your goals and that's your, you know, but these people are scrolling TikTok looking for a hookup, not literally, but they're just looking for quick value.
Right.
They're just looking for quick hits of entertainment. They didn't pull up to Instagram that day like, okay, I'm gonna find my influencer soulmate today. I'm gonna find my content spirit animal. Okay, here I go. Okay, guys, just quiet in the house. Here I go. I'm getting ready to log on. Oh, that's not him. It's not her, right? They're not doing that.
Right.
They're just like, they're like this in bed. See that thumb? That's called what I call scroliosis.
Nice.
It's just boom, right? We all do that, right? Just okay. So stop trying to marry people, you know, not literally, just metaphorically speaking, out on social media when they're really just looking for a hookup of value. And once they get, in literally, when I mean hookup, I'm saying just you're showing them right to the bedroom, baby. You're just showing them right to the door, right? Just, hey, here you go. Here it is. Here's the value. Here's exactly what you want. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
seriously, because you're skipping all the dating, you're skipping all the dinner, you're skipping all the people are not looking to do that on social media. They don't want to be wined and dined by you. They don't want to hear your life story, right? You know, if they're scrolling, the last thing they want to do is hear some stranger's life story. They're looking for a quick hookup of value or entertainment, edutainment, as we call it. And so give them what they want and then give them what they need and you need on the back end. It's sort of the roles are reversed to dating, how you would normally want a date to happen, right? Normally you would want to have dinner, learn about somebody, do a couple of dates, tell them your life story before you did the thing, right? But in the world of marketing, people are just looking for the quick hit and then to build the relationship after. Does that analogy click with you? What comes up for you? It's kind of it's an out there one, but I'm a marketer. I like to use things that stick into people's brains, right? Does that
people
feel
just want they want like a quick grab, right? What can I get from this person? And I think sometimes like people want to talk about themselves, like, but really you just need to tell people, here's what I can do for you. And then people are like, oh, they're going to give me something for free, or, oh, they're going to teach me this for free. And, I tried to do that even in your bio. Don't talk about yourself. Talk about what you're going to give the other person. Talk about how this is going to help them, because that's really, and that's all they want when they're scrolling online. Right. How can this help me? How can I get something from this person? And, when they hit the follow button, or when they get your freebie in their email, you should be delivering value, right? That's something that they say, hey, go get this from that person because it's free. And like, it's something that you could almost pay for. You should be giving that away for free, because that's something that is going to make an impact on that person. And then they will come back for that second helping, or, to buy something else from you, because they see the value in what you're giving them.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you all grasp and grab that, because that concept that you brought up, Hailey, and of course I ranted about, is one of the largest platinum nuggets. Many of you will need to back up a true dump truck with an excavator to get that one out of here. Because it is so powerful. That concept you brought up is so powerful. It's so important to understand. And it does not, by giving away free value, by having a hookup mindset, that doesn't, the internet is hookup culture. It's not long-term dating, marriage, right? It's just not. And so I hope you guys aren't crossing over my analogy, because all of you are wonderful people who do want to, and as am I, want to give value, want to do the right thing, want to make sure people are well informed, want them to know who they're working with, all this kind of stuff. But people don't have time for that. They don't have time for that. They don't have time to listen to all that from me. I start to introduce people to, even in the sales video that sells the challenge, and I'm selling something on that page, I am only sprinkling in parts of my story, but I've got them there on a page. It's not, they've already opted in somewhere. They're already on an email list. They're watching a sales video that's going to sell them something. Social media is not the place to try to wine and dine people. And it's the place to give them quick hits of edutainment and give them something, as you said, away for free that they would likely pay for, or at least the perceived value has to be there. Some training videos, some ebook, some PDF, some download, or just some curiosity driven giveaway or headline. that you're using on your opt-in page that you can direct people to get them into your funnel, and then you can begin to wine and dine them. Then you can begin to build the relationship. Then you can begin to ask for their hand in marriage, right? But until then, they don't want to get that close to you because they don't know who you are. They're just looking for a quick hookup, quick hit of edutainment value. And if you can deliver on that and show them that clear path, again, most of these people are already been warmed up by somebody else. Yeah. If you can show them that clear path, give them a good enough free giveaway, because most of them are not taking action because they think they can find it for free somewhere, right? That's why they're not, right? Because they're like, I'm not going to pay. I'll just kind of watch and just kind of hang out until something free comes along. Well, what you do is you give them something free that looks so irresistible that they're like, I'll take that. Okay. Yeah. I want that. Right. And then they're in your funnel, and now maybe they buy right away, whatever it is you're selling. Maybe they don't, but now at least you've got them on your email list and they've taken that first step with you. Right. Whereas they didn't with all those other people they were following. And maybe the marketer reaches out. Maybe you reach out to them. Maybe they just start. Maybe you have so many people that are coming through, they just start getting your emails. Some buy, some die, some unsubscribe. That's marketing. And you keep marketing to them until, this is what I was told at the beginning. I know it sounds harsh, but friends, this is the school of hard knocks. This ain't a job fair, baby. Hit them until, email them and market to them as nicely and aggressively until they buy, die, or unsubscribe. Don't be afraid to market to them. They're there because they want something from you. Right. Give it to them, and don't be hesitant or afraid or think that you're, bothering them, right? Which is what we sometimes think when we're about to send an email, like, oh my God, there's, 33 people or 30 people or 300 people or 300,000 people on my list. I don't want to bother anybody. No, they're on your list for a reason. Right. They followed you for a reason. They want something from you. So be smart enough to give it to them, but still get what you want. Zig Ziglar said it best. If you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. But that's the thing, is we got to give them we got to give them something valuable fast right away first. Right. That's the key. And I love that you pointed that out. Anything to add to that? Because my final question for you, if not, would be, what have you learned about yourself? What has this done for you, your self-esteem, your confidence, your communication skills, your belief in yourself at a young age over the past few months since you've started this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely been a wild ride, starting with the challenge, and even to think that I would invest in blueprints, because that's an investment in yourself, that is going to benefit you at the end. But, you have to believe that I'm worth investing in. I can do this, and you have to have that mentality of believing in yourself, because when you're always just the employee and you're being told what to do, it's different when you get into a role like this, that you're the one in charge and you're the one calling the shots, and you seem to doubt yourself more. Like, am I capable of doing this? Am I capable of growing a following and making commissions and being successful in something that I've never ever done? This was brand new to me, and it changed a lot of the way I think about money, even how I think about the online space, and definitely how I think of marketing. I could take the skills I learned in the blueprints and apply that to my husband's heating and air business, which is so crazy, because the value I've gotten and the knowledge I have now is very transferable. I can do this with multiple niches, and to think that I have something that's my own. That email list, though I promote Legendary, isn't Legendary's email list. That's me. And I don't see a Legendary marketer in the $7 challenge going anywhere. But if it were to be gone tomorrow, I have my own email list that I can, promote another product to, which is something, my sister has told me. She's like, oh, I started selling this product and I want you to host a party. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if you only understood how the marketing world works. I'm like, no, you need to be doing something different. Like, you don't own your leads. And, it's completely changed my way of thinking. And it's kind of weird to think, like, a year ago, I never would have thought this was possible, to grow an online business, to watch TV with my husband and look down and see I made another commission. Like, this is absolutely mind-blowing. And the crazy part is, this is only just the beginning. And knowing that, this is something that isn't short term. This isn't just a fad. Definitely isn't a scam, as most people make it out to be. This is something that will last for years. And, it's pretty exciting to me to be involved in something like this that's got so much potential.
Well said. Well said. And so happy for you in your new life, new chapters that you're starting. My best to you and your family. I know that you are going to have just a much likely, I predict, I'm getting out my crystal ball here, a much happier, more stress-free future when you're not, basically going somewhere, working for somebody else in a miserable job that you hate, especially fast food, hospitality, some of these places that you've worked that, God bless you, you've put in the hard work and were willing to do the tough jobs. And now, that work ethic is paying off here because you're also learning how to do this. And I think it's definitely going to make for a much more stress-free future when finances and time, your two most valuable things that we're always working for, money and time, right? Are going to be more available to you through the skills that you're learning right now. And you're right, they are transferable. They will be here. God forbid something ever happens to me or us. If something happens to me, Legendary should still be here. But God forbid something happens to Legendary. Yeah, you're independent. You're not dependent. And I love that you said that, because it's the truth, right? And we promote that so aggressively here and shout that from the rooftops, that we are not trying to create a bunch of dependent people who are going out. Although people love to promote Legendary and it's become a real thing in our community, that's not our goal. That wasn't our goal. It's not what the 15-day challenge is about. It's not what the blueprints are about. It's just, we're honored and privileged to have so many people that want to promote our programs and think that they're great. And we try to convert for our affiliates. But at the end of the day, what we want is a community of independent entrepreneurs who have transferable skills they can apply, like you said, to your husband's brick and mortar AC business, or use them to be an affiliate, or any of the core four models, selling your own information products. You have said and pointed out so many powerful things. I just can't wait to have you back on the show and continue to follow your journey. Hailey, thanks for your time today, and stay legendary, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, my friends, you can follow Hailey at hailey.nicole.affiliate. I'm going to spell it for you. It's HAILEY.NICHOLE.affiliate, AFFILIATE, hailey.nicole.affiliate. What a powerful, my Lord, my friends. You never know what we're going to get into, what strategies, even secrets of the marketing universe. I think what Hailey pointed out there in respect to taking advantage of people already being warmed up out there is like one of the I'd say top 3 to 5 platinum nuggets dropped on Wake Up Legendary. Yeah, Hailey, I said it. Congratulations. Such a young mind, and is showing us what's possible at any age. And yeah, I see some of you out there, 60s, 70s, 80s. Shout out to you. It's never too late, man. Get on your grind. Do something that makes you happy, fulfilled, right? That's the way to keep certainly the bank account sharp, but no pun intended, but also the mind sharp, is staying at something, working at something, striving at something, growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. And so shout out to everybody who's on here, coming back from this holiday weekend, who's getting ready to get back in the saddle and continue to this is iron sharpening iron here within Legendary, both on Wake Up Legendary and all of our coaching calls and workshops. I'm just honored and privileged to be surrounded by you all. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow, as always, same place, same time, for another episode of the greatest show on the internet, Wake Up Legendary. Stay legendary, my friends. Get out of here. Peace.